So I'm Alastair Brown, CEO of Shard Credit Partners. I'm here today with Richard Jennings, who's the Managing Director of JST Services Scotland Limited. Shard Credit Partners invested in the management buy-in of JST Services last December, and we're now coming up to the first full year post-acquisition. Management buy-ins are very rare in the market these days. They have a reputation for being more risky than management buyouts. So with that in mind, Richard, how has the business performed in the first full year since we acquired it?
Hi, Alastair. Yes, it's performed exceptionally well, actually. We're probably about 25% up on revenue. So JST is an industrial business operating in the port sector. We operate that with a lot of assets, principally cranes and trucks. And yes, like I say, revenues are up very strongly, driven by a combination of factors really, partly overall demand in the port space. Post-Brexit, people are using ships rather than trucks. But also you've helped us with additional funding for more assets, so to give us more capacity. And we've been growing the business on that basis.
Great. And so what's been the primary driver of the strong growth this year in the port services sector?
The industrial commodities that we're handling are principally going into the construction sector in the UK. So we're handling timber, steel, aggregates, those type of commodities, which again you'll have read about is all high demand at the moment. We're active in other sectors as well, but across the board the sector is busy. We've got a very strong position in the UK market, and we've added to that with additional assets and additional. I think since the new management team come in as well, we've revitalised the business a bit more commercially.
Yeah, great. And one of the unusual areas that JST Services focuses on is floating piers, which is a very, very interesting business with customers in the forestry space. Could you talk a little bit about the floating pier business?
Sure, yes. Like you say, it's a very unusual asset class. So we have 3 floating piers, and we've recently just delivered the 3rd one, again with additional funding support, so thank you very much. They operate in the Highlands, so they're specifically geared to handle forest products, and we put them in forests that are very inaccessible by road. So it's an excellent way of opening up those forests to the export market. Very much green credentials, so it takes trucks off the road, and it would actually be in most of these forests would be impossible anyway to move the product out by road because they are so remote. But yes, so we put a pier literally into the forest, obviously on the water. The forest owner then can access grants to build dedicated roads, brings the product then to the pier. We load it on a ship and we export it either down south in the UK or across the island.
And I suppose one of the peculiarities of the forestry sector is that the harvest cycles are so long, so 30, 35 plus years. So it makes it very difficult to maintain high quality roads into all of the kind of locations in the northwest coast of Scotland and the Highlands where forestry is grown. And so I suppose one of the advantages of floating piers is that it allows you to bypass bringing trucks in and out in long distances, which is damaging to roads and causes congestion and all the pollution, and allows access instead via the sea, which is obviously more environmentally friendly and less polluting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what they do. And again, they're very unique bits of infrastructure because we found that we place them in a certain forest to evacuate that particular forest, but very quickly the hinterland extends. So and again the fact that they are mobile. Our latest pier is actually going to operate between 2 sites in the Highlands. So it's going to do 1 season in one and then move the next season to the other.
So thank you, Richard. That's been a very interesting update on the first year of JST Services. So what are the future plans and strategy over the next 2 to 3 years?
Sure, the future plans are to grow the business. And effectively, we've got a very simple strategy on 2 fronts. On the first front, it's about growing the existing core business. So that's more of what we do today with more cranes and more floating piers. And secondly, the business is exposed in such a way that we can have a buy and build strategy. So again, I think there are a number of smaller bolt-on businesses that we can bring into JST. So that's very much our strategy over the next few years.
Great. Okay. Very much look forward to it. Thank you very much, Richard.
Thank you for all your help. Thanks.